that happened. There was an incident going on that I found out about recently that involved VTubers that signed up with a company called VShojo. I thought that after the one incident that happened with a group of VTubers who signed up with another company, that this issue would not happen again. Sadly, it happened again. And this time it became very real, very public. A basic cliff note breakdown of this is Ironmouse, one of the most popular VTubers, probably the most popular VTuber on the entire internet, ran a fundraiser for a special group and raised over $500,000. However, after raising that money for the charity reported that they had not received it yet. Ironmouse was panicking, wondering what was going on. Well, turns out the VShojo company took the money and spent it. They spent it. All of it. $500,000 gone. And then, as the controversy got worse and worse, VShojo CEO came out to say they declared bankruptcy. So now, they don't have to pay a dime back of what they took. Scummy. Very scummy. And these VTubers are up in arms because they're coming out about their treatment at the company by their managers and the company itself. I mean, this is no different than, we hear it all the time. Imagine famous singers who sign up with a record deal at a record company and they have no money left because the record company paid everything, but they didn't get anything for it. We've heard this story across numerous industries. This is just another case of that. But what's worse is that it was for a charity event and they took $500,000 and spent it on themselves. And it wasn't like they didn't know it was for a charity. VShojo knew this was a charity. It's in the VOD on the site for Ironmouse. Big bold letters. This is money raised for charity. Did the English escape VShojo? Did they not understand it because there's a cultural gap? I don't know. I just know that that's some scummy behavior. And what's worse is that now the money that they raised, they're not getting it back. I don't know if they can with VShojo declaring bankruptcy, but I can tell you right now, I would not want to be in VShojo's shoes with that whole situation.
Okay, we gotta talk about the VShojo situation. Basically, if you didn't know, VTuber Ironmouse released this video where she explains why she left VShojo. Now, VShojo is a talent agency that manages a bunch of VTubers, and they seem to be a very scummy company trying to exploit their talent and potentially even snub charity. Now, this has led to an insane chain reaction with everybody leaving VShojo. People are even coming out with insane stories of exploitation and general creepy shit like VShojo staff doxing identities. We even got CEOs being confronted on stream. So we're gonna go over.
That is true. In one incident that happened, it was another VTuber company. They, during a one of their VTubers leaving and then filing a court case against them, they proceeded to release information that they weren't supposed to the public, with public information about said VTuber. They did this, and they were a Japanese company. I'm beginning to think all VTuber Japanese-owned companies are black sites. They have to be. There's no other explanation for it. They have to be black sites, because at this rate, this is two in less than a 5-year span who have been doing some sketchy stuff and getting away with it, and then proceed to declare bankruptcy and take $500,000 in charity and disappear with it. Literally.
over the situation, look at everybody's reaction from Asmongold to Legal Mindset to Charlie to Ludwig. Basically everybody's talking about this. Subscribe for your daily dose of YouTube.
Let's up those numbers!
Now, quick context for any people who are not caught up. Ironmouse is this super popular streamer. She actually broke the all-time sub record at one point. She has this disease called CVID. Basically, your immune system sucks and you get sick really easily and life is pretty tough. Now, it turns out she's very passionate about helping people who suffer with it. She works with this charity called the IDF, the
There it is. That was the charity, Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Immune Deficiency Foundation, and apparently this company, VShojo, manages the finances of a bunch of VTubers, including her. So VShojo basically completely fucked her over, and the charity as well. Here's a short clip of her explaining what happened.
I am leaving VShojo. Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by VShojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from VShojo. I know that this is a lot, and it's very important for me to be honest with all of you. I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now, I have been instructed by my attorney to wait for more of the legal procedure to unfold. So one day, I will be able to tell you the full story.
Right, so absolutely insane. This company
Very insane. And the sad part about all this, the truly sad part, is that the fact that this happened again. It happened again. Yeah, this stuff is scummy. It's very scummy. They shouldn't have been allowed to do this. They got away with it. And by declaring bankruptcy, they pretty much they don't have to pay anything back. But that's only on current proceedings. If Ironmouse is filing after they've declared bankruptcy, then maybe she can get the money. But it's a sad, sad situation. It should not have happened. And man, I cannot imagine you spent almost an 8-hour stream trying to raise money for a charity you believed in, that you've been a part of, and she hasn't been part of this charity for that short for a short period of time. She has the condition. This charity most likely in her life gave her money to help her get treatment. It's not too far from the truth. That's why she wanted to give back. Because she had the means, she had the growth, she had the channel to do so. And she used her platform to try to do that, only for the scummy VShojo to come in and, oh, we manage your finances, and we'll tell you over and over we gave the money to them. And the charity keeps calling Ironmouse asking, hey, we haven't received the donation yet. And she's like, okay, let me check with my financial advisor. Calls VShojo, and they're like, oh, no, we're sending it over. No, nothing to worry about. And then they're just going out and they're, getting a drink with that money.
is apparently not paid out $500,000 to charity,
And to be clear, $500,000 is not a small amount. No.
Absolutely disgusting shit. On top of that, they have not paid out the talent themselves and are in general just extremely exploitative and cringe. And these agencies are basically the modern day MCNs. And they essentially exploit naive talent who don't really know any better, and they end up getting stuck in these horrible contracts.
And again, this is not the first time it's happened. That's why I'm shocked that most of these VTubers didn't pay attention to what happened 5 years ago. Because it's still fresh. It's still fresh. It hasn't gone away. People still talk about it as an example of a black site company that abuses its workers.
Now, I can sort of relate to Ironmouse. I also had an autoimmune disease, Crohn's. And yeah, it's pretty tough to deal with. Autoimmune diseases in general just suck. They take like years to diagnose. The entire time the world...
Okay. They are correct about that. See, I'm not referring to myself. I have a cat. His name is Hex. He suffers from autoimmune skin disease. It took 5 different vets, almost 2 years, trying to figure out what was wrong with him. I went to 5 different vets, tallied up a bill of over $10,000 just to figure out what was wrong with him. I even took him out of state to another vet to get him allergy tested to determine if he had allergies, and I also brought him back. Turns out I tried the 5th vet. The 5th vet was a vet up the road from where I live. I took him there. The vet takes one look at him and goes, I know what this is. Based on all the history that I had passed on to him from the files. Of course, one of the vets was being a pain and not sending the information, so I had to give it my best to remember it all. But he looked at him and goes, he has autoimmune skin disease. I'm like, are you certain? He's like, I've seen this before. And proceeded to give him Atopica, a immunosuppressant, and now Hex, months and months later, getting close to a year, has made a full 180. He's not kidding when it is deceivingly hard to figure out what is wrong with an immune deficiency. It is not easy to diagnose at all. And I mean, I'm talking about a cat. A cat. Can you imagine in human anatomy what it takes to try to diagnose the immune deficiency that someone has? Because there's so many different ones. And the thing is with cats, dogs. Fun fact about dogs, the vet explained to me after he told me what he believed was wrong with Hex. Research into cats only started roughly 30 years ago. Vets were primarily taking care of canines. And after 30 years of research, they found most of what they give dogs, you can give to cats. And it works the same, just in smaller dosage. And fun fact, Atopica was something that they gave to dogs for autoimmune conditions. And they gave that to Hex after they made one for cats, which only came out roughly about, I think, he told me 5 to 6 years ago. And it's only recent. Research into cats only just recently started getting more aggressive. Dogs have so much research, them to trying to figure out what's wrong with them doesn't take as long as it did like with my cat. The vet couldn't believe I took him to 5 different vets and even went out of state. And when he saw all the health history, he was flabbergasted that he thought one vet actually thought it was flea dermatitis and was like, this is not flea dermatitis. Because flea dermatitis would focus on where the fleas are biting. Hex was licking himself everywhere and tearing out fur. So when More Pegasus tells me that it's that difficult, I believe it, hands down. Immune deficiencies are no joke to diagnose.
Thinks you're crazy, your own doctors think you're crazy because they can't figure it out. Meanwhile, you're fucking dying with like level 99 pain. Now, thankfully, mine's under control now after like 2 of the worst years of my life. But yeah, I can definitely feel for her. People responded to Mousy. We got Sea-Dog VA, who frequently, raises money for charity and the IDF as well. We got your back. Right behind you, Mouse. Jacksepticeye, so sorry about all of this. Lots of love. I'm so sorry for the people who trusted to let you down so badly. It's genuinely disgraceful, and VShojo really have to do an awful lot to answer for. This isn't a situation you should have to go through. You've got our full support. So let's just start with Ironmouse's story and Asmongold's reaction as well.
I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. I was very lonely due to the fact that I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID.
And see, that's the reason why she cares a lot about it, is because this is a charity that benefits her, and she's raising money to help cure people that have her problem.
I basically
this isn't like some abstraction.
Low to near non.
Oh, I had pet insurance for my first cat, Jamie. In order to get pet insurance for Hex, I'd have had to pay even double the amount just for the coverage. If you get a cat that's past the 4 weeks mark and you don't get them insurance starting when they're a kitten or a puppy, it's way more expensive. And because Hex has pre-existing conditions, he would have cost almost $250 a month just from Lemonade because of his condition. And that's not including any additional charges Lemonade might do or other insurances when they raise the rates. Because Jamie, she still had her pet insurance. I recently stopped it because it's been 5 years now. She's been doing extremely well. She has had no issues, and she's the healthiest cat I've ever had. So I took a risk and I stopped the pet insurance for her. Hex, on the other hand, I pay out of pocket for. insurance, if I did get it for him, would cost me more than the actual medication coverage that I pay for. So it's a pick and choose game.
Non-functioning immune system, which means I get sick a lot, and it caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life.
Yep.
So then I found streaming, and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online, because
Smart.
I honestly couldn't ever leave my room. I never really expected to grow an audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. I just thought that I would stream to, 5 to 10 people and just hang out from time to time, make some friends, play games, and just continue on with my life. In my mind, I saw myself as unhireable, which is why streaming worked for me. I had no boss,
I can relate.
no strict rules, I had no hours, no expectations. It was all up to me, and due to the fact that I have lived my life chronically ill and being unable to do much of anything,
Yeah.
I just felt like
Corona gave a
there
huge
was
boost.
no
Yeah, it
way
did.
that anyone would ever take me or want me. For a while, I was struggling to make a decision because I was afraid about my anonymity and afraid about trusting people.
That's
because-
another reason why VTubers are being more popular, is because people just want to stay anonymous. They don't want to have like weirdos getting involved and trying to interfere.
The thing about why I'm VTubing now, for me, it's not because of that. My face is already plastered all over my channel. For me, it's because I lack a webcam. Yep, that's why. I do it because I lack a webcam. And now I've become so accustomed to it, I'm just comfortable with it. So, no big mystery there. I have no health conditions other than asthma. That's it, but that's under control. And for me, VTubing is strictly just a way to have a visual presence without a webcam.
And get into their real life.
Right, so basically she was chronically ill, consider herself unhireable, and this was like her one outlet, right? It is a pretty touching story. She made a career and impacted so many lives despite her, very deplorable situation. And VShojo really saw this and went, yeah, let me just f this person over. Now people ask, why get into shady contracts in the first place? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, they don't know any better, of course. They just want to...
No, they don't. They don't consider getting a lawyer. They don't consider the ramifications of signing it. They just read, oh, money, it's a lot. And they'll handle most of the difficult stuff, so I won't have to. Okay, I will sign this. And it takes a life lesson to teach them. Sometimes the life lesson can be too catastrophic and ruins everything, but other times you get the benefit of a second chance.
Want to get their name out there as like a starting creator. You're basically willing to accept anything. You don't really expect to become successful at all. Reason two is like they want to maintain their anonymity. This is obviously a big thing with female streamers. They usually have these sort of psycho fans, psycho simps, so the company managing it provides another layer of security there, because they handle basically everything there, including the finances. You don't have to submit your names on a lot of things because the company will take charge of that. Well, it was supposed to be more sort of anonymous, but we'll find out later that they've apparently been doxing people behind the scenes as well. Now, this next part, he talks about the gaslighting VShojo did to her.
I would always be told how important I was for the company.
Well, she is. She was she was the face of VShojo by far.
I was told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody. I felt responsible for staff and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't do this and if I didn't stay, I was hurting everybody and I was destroying everybody's life. But
Just emotional manipulation. That's all it is. It's plain and simple, like flat out. It's really not complex at all. Straight up emotional manipulation. oh, well, we can't do this, or, you know, it's like, if you leave, we're gonna shoot the dog. Like, okay, well, what the f, right?
Yeah, keep in mind that Ironmouse was the biggest VTuber. She was essentially the company's name and reputation, along with, you know, maybe a few other people. So they were guilt tripping her into staying while simultaneously doing all the scummy shit behind the scenes. And it always sucks to see that it's always like the sweetest people, you know, the nicest people who have, you know, good hearts. They're the ones getting exploited the most. Then he talks about the contracts these companies sort of.
I'm curious, and I'm going to look it up now. Because this is going to answer my question and my next point. Joe. Is it a Japanese company? Ah. That makes it worse. Way worse. Because I have heard and seen tons of crap from Japanese-owned VTuber companies. This is an American-owned company. American. Wow. But of course, they're stationed out of California, so that doesn't shock me at all.
Put in place, right? And how this doesn't really make sense for something to take a year to pay out, right?
Explain. So net means like that you're gonna pay that money in, like, net 30, you're gonna get paid in 30 days. Net 90, you're gonna get paid in 90 days, right? And so like a 6-month period, that's ridiculous. But I could still chalk that up to just very bad business practices and not malice. Beyond 6 months, now we're having a problem. I've never heard of a 360. Yeah. Well, now they're getting the red ring of death.
This entire situation has broken me. I just wanted to do something good and to give back to a community that helped me. But unfortunately,
I think we need to figure out where the money went. Like, that's what really matters, right? Because, like, that's $500,000. That's a lot of money, guys.
Yes, it is.
Where'd it go? Is it donated? Why isn't it donated? What happened? Like, that's the big issue. You're gonna be fine. They're gonna give the money back. They're gonna have to give the money back, or it's fraud. They're gonna have to donate it. It'll happen for sure. Until they post like a financial fucking proof, and the Immune Deficiency Foundation comes out and says, yes, we received this money. Bro, people can never let them forget this. This is $500,000.
They declared bankruptcy.
Think about how much money that is. That's insane.
I mean, they better donate or they're just straight up going to jail. I mean, this is not only charity fraud, but also several other violations, which we'll be going over in legal.
It is, but keep in mind, they declare bankruptcy. So I'm curious how that impacts it.
Mindsets coverage. But yeah, they don't really have an option here. This isn't just like drama. This is straight up just robbing a charity and a bunch of other people. And it might even get government agencies involved because this is an American thing, obviously. And yeah, when it comes to charity, it's not just these individuals that are involved. You know, the FTC might have a word for these people as well. Now, just some insights into the whole contracts and payments thing. Basically, even for like things like sponsorships, you know, the usual payback you get is net 30 or net 60, right? So basically 30 or 60 days after your upload goes live, they will see, you know, the views and the sales generated, and you know, they do their accounting on a certain day, so that's basically when they pay you. Now, in some fringe cases, it takes longer, you know, 3 months or something. 6 months is, you know, absolute insanity. At that point, you should not be taking any deals like that, but you know, some people have some reasons for it. A year is just fucking crazy. That obviously shows something is wrong. There's absolutely no reason a company cannot pay you for an entire year there, and you're likely doing some sort of shady business behind the scenes. Then he talks about how many people are actually leaving VShojo now.
And everybody has quit. Oh my fucking god. So literally every single person. Oh my god.
I think this video takes place before they declared bankruptcy. Let me see what day it is. Is it 2 day or 3 day old? 2 days old. So yeah, this video took place before they declared bankruptcy.
God. They're all leaving. TBA, yeah, I guess they're probably waiting. They're going to stream to talk about it. Yeah, rip all the talents. Yeah, there we go.
Now, I'm not too big into the VTubing scene here, so I don't recognize most of these names. I recognize like a few, maybe. Obviously, Ironmouse here, Melody, Kason. I've heard some of these names. I don't exactly know who they are. I don't actively watch. But yeah, it's only getting worse and worse. As I'm recording as well, more and more people are coming out with videos or statements on Twitter. And essentially, Ironmouse was the first domino here. More and more people are essentially just getting sick of dealing with this exploitative shit. And once the biggest person's gone, everybody sort of gets the confidence to leave. Also, you know, VShojo's reputation has been turned to shit because of this whole charity thing. So it's kind of open season for everyone to leave now. Now, the surprising part out of all of this is the fact that everybody's leaving sort of instantly. I would have thought that these contracts had some sort of restricting clause, you know, like you need to give 2 months notice before.
There probably is. They probably have a penalty for leaving, but chances are, with everything that's happened and the fact that they declared bankruptcy, they're not enforcing it. Now, the debt collectors can enforce it if they come down on them. That's a possibility, but I don't know if it'll go that far.
Before you do anything, you need to not talk bad about VShojo for, you know, this amount of time or whatever. I highly doubt that every one of them is like violating their contract or something. They probably just luckily are able to get out quite quickly here. Then he talks about how these companies prey on women.
That I have seen a tremendous amount of business manipulation that is leveraged in and against women in different places. I've seen more emotional manipulation, more blatant lies, and basically people taking advantage of.
So VShojo, based on this tweet right here, is this accurate? Because we just looked it up on Google. Kason just quit in front of the Japanese VShojo CEO because he said that the Japan side of VShojo is doing well but still not paying her. Huh. Okay. So it's one of those situations like with Sony. There's a North American side and a Japanese side of it. Just different locations. Okay. Maybe Google didn't reference that.
Blatant lies and basically people taking advantage of, you know, I guess women's on average less confrontational side and using that to that person's disadvantage. I've seen this happen multiple times. I think women are the victims of this in almost every single circumstance. It happens obviously to men as well, but I think that they get away with it more often with women because women, it's seen as being more socially permissive and more socially expected for women to be agreeable.
I don't really agree with this point on that. I think it's because they know they can manipulate them emotionally. That's the situation. That's what I think. I think they take advantage of their mentalities. They get a read on them during a contract negotiation, and then they take advantage of it. Most managers do that. That's why you usually have an attorney or an agent who covers for you.
I think that's what happens. That's life.
What a disgusting misogynist. Imagine caring about women, bro. That's crazy. Now, but honestly, a lot of these girls legit are just super trusting and not expecting to be screwed over. Obviously, this happens to guys too as well, but guys seem to be, you know, very confrontational, and they'll make a big hoopla about it, right? So some of these companies actually know this, and they take advantage of women for being, you know, too nice for their own good, and they try to entice them with these sort of false promises, lock them into predatory contracts, which is why, you know, everybody should be having a lawyer. Obviously, as a new creator, you know, trying to rise up the ranks or whatever, you're not going to be able to afford one, nor are you going to have the foresight to get a lawyer for these situations. But you don't really need like a full-time lawyer or something. Just have somebody look over the contract, make sure you're careful who you partner with, and you must know your worth. You know, you can likely make it on your own as well, and you might not even be needing these companies. Sometimes you just sign on with people because, you know, you're too afraid to take the step yourself. But sometimes, you know, it's just better to do it yourself because some of these companies end up being really scummy pieces of shit. Okay, moving on to Shibuya Kaho's statement here. Apparently, VShojo staff has been doxing their creators and showing their real photos. So she tweeted, "This person moved from a noted VTuber company to another as a staff last year, bragging about his new income. He thrusted me a few of his business cards to give to my good contacts. I found the action obnoxiously rude, but maybe he was too young and friendly to know better. Then the mother flipper wanted to meet up for tax advice because I'm a native in Japan and I hire an accountant. I was asked to have dinner in his area, which was quite far for me, splitting the bill. That day I got convinced I didn't like the guy. Yet because I love the towns he worked with, I was only secretly hoping that he would lose his job one day. Recently I found from another creator that he was showing photos of VTubers' real selves while revealing their personal info like their marital status. I now wanted to find a way to warn other employees. Why would you reveal marital status? This is some creepy shit. Also, showing photos of their real selves when they specifically became VTubers to, conceal the identity and remain anonymous is messed up as shit. Today, I've learned the most despicable shit the company has done to their talent. Don't know if he's involved with it, yet all my personal grudge is nothing compared to such betrayal. Sometimes, unfortunately, managers or agencies can be the talent's worst enemies. Please always support the talent first." And this statement is blowing up on Twitter right now. Basically, VShojo is being exposed from like all avenues, every single direction, like, charity fraud, not paying back their talent.
Sounds like in general, they didn't even train their recruitment staff on how to properly recruit. Seems like it was just a lot of sucking up to somebody, get them to sign a piece of paper, and then after that, we go dog crap on them.
As well. Now they're doxing people. Jesus Christ. If you knew about this guy, why didn't you speak up earlier? Actually, I just came back from the US where I gathered the info that he was still with the company, and I was actually meeting up with someone who's been working for him. Given it's a story I heard from someone else, I thought it was best to do in person. Right, so in my opinion, if this person is actually doing the things you said, I think they need to be sort of named and shamed so that they can't do it to other people. I mean, am I wrong there? I feel like...
Named and shamed is the game of the internet. A fine example of that is pirate software. Lot of that. People get named and shamed all the time. I don't particularly approve of it. I'm not a big fan of going after people for their political positions, but I am a firm believer that if you start something and you are the reason why it started and you don't own up to it, then yeah, you will end up becoming an internet target. And that's just the sad state of things.
At least if not publicly, like the company should know, although they probably won't do anything. At least the VTuber should know, right? Although everybody is already kind of leaving now, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, moving on to a VTuber confronting the Japan CEO and quitting live on stream. Now keep in mind, they probably don't have much control over the English side of VShojo, right? And the English talents there. But yeah, apparently this guy's getting crucified now.
First of all, I was already planning to leave VShojo this month. Specifically, on the 31st. Because VShojo hasn't paid a significant amount of money to me too.
っていうところはあったんですけれども、
So did you just say that VShojo JP itself was doing good?
そうですね。
In finances too?
そうですね。
You haven't paid me.
This was a pretty wacky stream. This shit goes insano style. Her confronting the CEO of this company, her boss, live on stream, and also the fact that her boss agreed to do it in the first place blows my mind. That is baffling. Like, humiliation rituals aren't this brutal.
No,
Quit VShojo
but
today.
はい。
VShojo 辞めます今日。
はい。
はい、31日予定でしたけど、今日辞めます。
what it's like to be multilingual is so impressive. I tried it, but I couldn't catch on.
I quit. This is very wrong. Ro-san.
はい。
Very, very wrong. You're telling me that VShojo JP was doing good?
Who is the parent company, though? As far as I understand, the companies are strictly Japanese-based, like Sony, Japanese-based, VShojo, Japanese-based, but they have American headquarters, which are run up by American hired board and American hired CEOs. But the CEO of VShojo in America declared bankruptcy. But Japan's VShojo is doing good. Don't they have last say if the American headquarters can declare bankruptcy? Is it like a franchise? Doesn't it work like that?
Looked like, at least,
はい
doing good.
払っていたとしても、ケイソンに払っていたとしても大丈夫だったっていう感じですね。
You're telling me you could have paid me?
そういうことです。
Then where is it? Where is it? I want it now. Oh. Did you just die? What?
いや、
Japan branch CEO claims that the Japan branch was doing fine, and they could have paid her, but they didn't. We could have done it, but we decided not to.
These got to be black site companies then. They have to be black site. There's no other explanation for why they're not paying their employees. You can't not pay your employees and get away with it legally. Even in Japan, that's illegal. They can do a lot of stuff under the table, but eventually they get caught. Like, do you know how many black site companies open in Japan and close within a single fiscal year? It's crazy, and they do it over and over.
What, Big Whoop? You want to fight about it? So what?
Wait, what? I mean, did he actually even understand what she was saying? Because that just seems like a completely nonsense response to me. Like, yeah, we could have paid you, but nah, I'm not choosing to do that today. I think they were basically saying like the English branch was hemorrhaging like, I guess, revenue or something. So the Japan side couldn't pay until that side was actually fixed. Really dumb argument overall, because they need to get paid regardless, because it's literally their money that you're just holding hostage here. They're clearly running some sort of bank type scheme here, right? Where they're using the funds elsewhere and they're unable to produce them when asked. So this is something what banks do, right? They invest your money or whatever, but they can always produce it if you actually need it. So that way it isn't fucking illegal. For clarification, VShojo's Japan CEO only manages the JP talents and has no control over how the company operates or how the finances are handled for EN. Keisan doing this is essentially getting the highest authority she can get to speak on the matter. His statements boil down to "I don't know" because none of the EN's managerial or financial issues were communicated to the other branch.
Okay, but they're still the head branch though. It's a branch from your company. Regardless if you have managerial staff in place there running it, you have to know the ins and outs of what's going on at your franchises. This is just how it works. I mean, every single location has to report their revenue and profit for each quarterly section. They always do. Grocery companies do this all the time, like Kroger. I mean, Meijer, Walmart, they report quarterly reviews to the parent company, the one that sits at the top, and then they go over it, and it goes back down to district, and then from there it goes to regional. Because you will have you have the standard store manager. Up the chain is the district manager, who's that boss's boss. Then you have the regional manager, who deals with everything that comes down from corporate. And then there's the corporate president. I'm a little confused. Like, they have a parent company with multiple branches, and they have to get daily reports, quarterly reports of profits and revenue. How would they not know what's going on with their American branch? That's sus. Very, very sus.
Everyone else, my lores advised me to stay silent. Keisan calls the Japanese CEO to grill him on stream. Absolute balls of her to question the CEO live on stream. Mad respect. Yeah, they're out of money. Either the business didn't work or someone has been siphoning off the funds and is getting ready to run for it.
Embezzlement. That was the word I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of it before. They embezzled that charity money.
I feel like this scandal is getting huge. I don't know if some insiders from the company are going to be talking about it, but yeah, it's going to be real interesting. Whether they are fleeing the ship. I know the corporate office is the scene where SpongeBob is setting the office on fire. Always gotta have the SpongeBob memes. Okay, moving on to legal mindsets coverage and the legal implications of this whole ordeal, right? First, he talks about how the VTubers are not actually hired as employees, but they're actually hired as independent contractors, and that way these companies can do the most shady shit and not pay them back, right?
Now, one big thing that was brought up during this was that the staff was paid and not the talent. There is a very important reason for that, which we're going to get into, which is all of the talents are designated, and this is for almost all VTubing companies. I have not seen one contract, and I've reviewed all of them, including the VShojo contract, Niji Sanji, HoloLive, Vak.
VG Sanji, that was the group that I was referring to that had the issue a few years ago with other VTubers. They were releasing public information about their actual VTubers on Twitter in full posts with images and documentation in the middle of a court proceeding with another VTuber. Wow. Like the levels to the disgusting crap of doing that. They were trying to pressure her into stopping the suit, and she didn't, despite what they did, because they weren't supposed to release that information until it was publicly available on the record for the suit when they bring in the evidence round after the filings. But they were like, let's just put this on the internet. No one's going to have a problem with this. It's going to be fine. We'll put this on the internet. Everyone going to see who they are, and we're going to try to pressure her to let go of the shoot. That's exactly what happened. I forgot who they were. Thank you for reminding me, Legal Mindset.
Sure. All the greatest hits from big to small, Face Connect. I've seen all of them. I haven't seen a single contract that has said these people are employees. We consider them employees. They all try to make them independent contractors. That's very important because when it comes to fighting wages and paying wages, you have to pay employees under labor law, whether it's US law, Japanese law, really all around the world. You've got to pay.
That's what makes it a black site. Black sites. I mean, all these VTubers are quite young, but man, it sucks that they sign these contracts.
Pay out those wages. When it comes to independent contractors, well, you can shaft them and then they've got to come and sue you or bring an action against you or a claim against you to try to get those back. It puts a massive burden on them to claim those amounts of money. Now, I have, since the Niji Sanji crisis, been screaming from the top of the hills that this is BS. And I'll put some money in the swear jar for that one. These people are employees. Whether you consider them full-time or part-time employees, they are under the control and authority of these VTubing companies.
Right, so obviously there's no problem hiring people as contractors if you actually pay them. Now, when you're a big company, the situation is very different. It's sort of these classic scummy tactics to save a couple dollars here and there and to make sure that you legally can't fight back, right? Because if you're an independent contractor, the protections are way lesser than if you're actually an employee and you can, sue much more easily. Then this next part, he talks about the whole labor law process and a few other legal liabilities here.
So the process for this would be to gather documentation and witnesses, which they're probably doing right now. Their lawyers, particularly Ironmouse, is probably gathering a lot of documentation, getting witnesses together, and then you'd report it to the labor commissioner. In this case, probably the labor commissioner of California. And after that, there's a required mediation. Now, this might be what why they're saying wait, why Ironmouse said
it's like
a
180
hey,
days.
we need to get to a certain part of the legal process. It might be because they want to go to that mediation, see if.
Also, keep in mind, when they're filing these suits, they become publicly available after a certain time. Some states don't release it publicly, some do, but it'll be available on a website, so we'll probably get more information then.
They can get a settlement, see if VShojo can make this right. Otherwise, if that fails, there's going to be a civil lawsuit. They can bring a civil lawsuit, in which case we'd all get that information. It'd be public information. We'd be able to talk about it. We'd be able to see everything that's going on. It would be a nightmare for them from VShojo if they aren't already bankrupt, which we'll eventually touch on that topic. Ironmouse is a whistleblower.
Well, they already declared bankruptcy, so I think that's the case.
We're saying there is something illegal going on here, i.e. taking money that's supposed to go to charity, whether that's embezzlement or whatever else, or a fraudulent transfer, like that can be reported and there's no way you can retaliate against that. So if they donated money or you donated money, you're out there, you donated money, you might want to just have a chit chat with a lawyer and talk about what you did, how much money you gave, and what was going on with that. And then there's claims, once again, these are different types of civil claims for misrepresentation, breach of contract, fraudulent transfer. Particularly fraudulent transfer is at play here because of the large sum of money, because it's a massive amount of money.
Oh yeah, 500,000. 500,000.
Misrepresentation because they misrepresented that money was going to go to the charity and they didn't give it there. And breach of contract because there's an implicit contract. There's a fiduciary duty there to take that money and give it to the charity, and they broke that.
Right, so lots of legal problems for VShojo here. Now, will they actually be getting sued? That's the question, right? Now, if they don't pay back the charity money or, the talent money, possibly. And I think the bigger problem here is not really getting sued by individual people like Ironmouse or anything. It's more the investigation by the FTC, because charity fraud, these are things handled by the FTC here, right? And that's a way bigger fish you don't really want to mess with. So my guess is that they are definitely going to pay back the charity money, that's for sure. But regardless, it's not going to do much to improve their reputation. Absolutely nobody is going to be joining VShojo at this point. Everybody knows they're just in the gutter here, and nobody's going to trust them again. And this is the fall of a very large company here.
That duty to deliver that money can violate several federal laws. So it can be wire fraud. Wire fraud is one of the easiest ones to get them for. And certainly if they wanted to go down that route, and it is a case where they received the money via the internet, because wire fraud is not just old school wires and telephones, it's the internet. They got them, boys. They got them on that one. Money laundering, potentially making false statements about where the money would go, misrepresentations. Also the FTC Act, which involves various regulation of money regarding charities. All of those things they can be hit with, and they could get real jail time on this. This is serious jail time in real prison.
I mean,
true, but the amount of people that are incarcerated right now within the United States, they probably won't see a day of jail time. Probably fines and a criminal record, and then most likely being forced to stay at their homes or being unable to perform certain activities anymore because of legal issues. I mean, I don't see them serving a day of jail because the incarceration rate is so high in the United States. It's broken. It's a broken system.
Absolutely deserved. Exploiting creators for this long, defrauding charity. I mean, heck yeah, go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect their $200. And it's especially, insidious because it's IDF here, right? It's like people who really need this sort of money and really need this sort of help, and they're being denied it because of these people, right? Now Charlie talks about the situation.
That 500,000 would have been a significant donation to that charity, and probably would have helped out thousands of people in need of treatment.
And some updates involving Ironmouse's fundraising efforts.
They put their grubby paws on it before the talent does. So it's not uncommon in the space for the agreement between talent and agency to have the agency directly handle like their Twitch subs and their Twitch revenue and their Twitch ads, that kind of thing. It's diabolical.
Did somebody say diabolical? Another viewer of the legendary series, of course.
Pegasus is his favorite word.
Watches, I'm kidding, but probably. All right, probably.
Ironmouse did a Tiltify link in the description, and that's been shared a lot from a lot of people that want to support because the charity that she was raising money for never saw the money that she earned for them. And since this blew up, the Tiltify link has exploded, and over $600,000 is being donated to the Immune Deficiency Foundation.
Well, I'm happy for them, because that is what should have happened months ago when this was all going down. But hey, they got 119,000 additional. But you know what the best part is? Is if VShojo is forced to have to pay that 500,000, the charity is going to get an additional 500,000 on top of the 619,000. Very nice. Very nice.
Foundation, which I think is very, very nice. I think that is great.
Good humans, baby. We love to see it. That's amazing. You know, power of the internet, power of the people, and they ended up raising even more than the initial 500,000. And hopefully they even get to 1 million, you know, make Ironmouse's day and a lot of people at the IDF as well. TLDR, stealing is bad. Stealing from chronic disease victims is even worse. Who would have thought, guys? Stealing from charity is actually bad. I hate this, and it isn't hyperbole. $1 million company took advantage of a disabled woman by lying to her, stealing from her, and even withholding money from the charity that saved her life. This is fucking vile. Yeah, I mean, that is actually what happened. Now that
That's why she wanted to help the charity.
Out that way, that is really sinister. Remember when VShojo plastered Ironmouse all over Tokyo to promote how well they treat their talents? VShojo doesn't. Classic. Every time when you try to appear like you're the good person, it always turns around. Niji Sanji almost caused the towns to end themselves. VShojo stole 500k from charity. That saved their streamer's life.
Niji Sanji. If anybody is curious about them, look up that name and you'll see what went down. It was black site bad.
So here we are on the Tiltify page, and she's raised about 700.
Now it's almost 750,000, and this was 2 days ago. This is like the signatures for the Stop Killing Games initiative.
$50,000. This is amazing. Whether you've been recently diagnosed, there's been people living with PI for years. PI is no cure, but there are life-saving treatments available that can improve the quality of life. And then
yeah, the treatments mainly are different for each thing, but most of them are immunosuppressants. Some can be non-steroid, others can be steroid. Hex had to go through a few before we finally figured out which one would work, because originally he was on I always forget what it's called, but it was a pilled steroid that he took as a pill. But the vet didn't want to keep him on it because the possibility that his immune system could become compromised. So they went with the oral, which was the oral Atopica, which is actually a lot safer than the pill for long-term use, at least according to most research. Atopica is a lot safer than the regular stuff. Now, is Atopica a steroid? I don't think so. It's an immunosuppressant that targets the cells that attack the skin. That was my understanding. I just know that it works. And that's all that matters to me.
we got a bunch of facts here. And yeah, all these people are donating, wanted to pedal for charity, but my bike vanished right after VShojo borrowed it. Classic. To Beautiful Soul, I'm sorry, Mousy, I wish I could do more. Just a little support to show I care. And here we got some of the top donors. Shout out to these people, you know, really helping out a good cause here. Right, moving on to Ludwig's response here. Apparently he's getting a little bit of heat. Ludwig got cooked under his tweet here. So Ludwig tweeted, I believe VShojo is a terrorist organization.
That's quite a take, but oh boy, this is bad as when people out in public for protests scream at someone's face and call them a name, like calling them racist when they're not even doing anything or talking. Like, it's just that's the situation.
Tecton responded, Hassan must be the CEO. Classic. Hassan must love VShojo in that case. Ironically speaking, with someone who's friends with Hassan. Okay, everybody's...
Pegasus really couldn't avoid putting Hassan in this video. Like, he couldn't resist. He had to find some way to sneak him into a video that had nothing to do with him, except because of something Ludwig said.
Is bringing up Hassan. Probably shouldn't have used the words terrorist there. Congrats on being thrown a softball. VShojo bad is free for a popular opinion no one will disagree on. You love terrorism, so you must be excited. Oh my god, people are not happy with Ludwig. You were friends with Hassan Piker. Freaking regard. Right, so Asmin responded.
Ludwig tweeted about this. I believe VShojo is a terrorist organization. Why would... why? It's just...
Why do some of these people say some of the things that they do? Like, it's not even applicable in this situation. This is the problem that you get with people that are on a certain section of politics, where they put a name that doesn't apply to something and they say it over and over until eventually everyone on that side thinks that word means that meaning when it's not. Dictionaries exist. Let's use them, peoples.
He's obviously like, I think that people are very annoyed by Ludwig always trying to have the safe, like he's waiting for, He's waiting for everybody to decide on the same thing so he can repeat it back to them for internet points. It just seems kind of fucking fake. And by kind of, I mean completely fucking fake.
It had like 32k likes and 1.2 million views based on that tweet. So, is it all 30k plus trolls that are just liking it because you can't dislike it? I don't know. There's some people that follow that kind of rhetoric.
It's so annoying. Please come out with a hot take every once in a while, Ludwig, okay? You don't have to wait for the entire internet to agree before you tell them what their opinion is, okay? Jesus, how annoying.
Man, Ludwig can't catch a break, I guess. I mean, I'm not really too pressed about this. As long as he's sort of helping the cause, you know, supporting the whole situation, I don't really mind him being cringe. Yes, do I wish he would stop supporting his son? Yes. Okay, but whatever. Well, I'll take what I can get here. Anyways,
I'll take what I can
this
get here.
video or VShojo steals $1 million from your bank account. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's if I'm working with them. Jeez. That is quite the situation to be in.
Hey there everyone, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks again.